Director Oscar.
Thank you, President. The Berkshire report came up, and we talked about the, it was something.
Yes, sir.
Question was asked, and your response was somewhat brief. Denied. Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Well, you are management, and I understand that the buck stops here kind of thing. There are at least 2 layers above you that I'm aware of, the managing director and the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Maybe somebody in between those. Who commissioned the Berkshire report?
It was commissioned by Pica.
By Pica.
Yes, sir.
But everybody was in agreement that the report would be a good analysis to use. That the administration was behind it, and I think even the unions. When something comes out, somewhat scathing, a statement like that, does the managing director, did the managing director or anyone in finance or in management above commissioner level call you in and say, how do you explain this? How do you respond to this? And did that happen?
Yes, we had, and good morning. The other thing is that we had finance and other people who looked at the Berkshire report, looked at the numbers. We actually had them come in, sit down, have a session, and talk about those numbers. The things that when I said that I don't agree, it was to a specific question that was asked, and it was about whether or not we use data for making decisions. That's what I answered. Not to the whole Berkshire report. It was about, do we use data to make decisions in the Philadelphia Fire Department?
Specifically dealing with the questions that we've been hearing from Councilman Swilla and Kenny and others, that
Yes.
we have data from our job analysis that shows how many people are retiring.
Yes.
And yet we have $7 or $8 million in overtime because we didn't have those positions filled.
Yes.
And you disagree that we should have, you don't think we should have filled those positions based on the drop analysis information that told us they were going to occur? So spending overtime, in your opinion, was better than filling the positions?
No, filling the position.
I'm trying to get a longer answer than I
got you. You're talking about management positions or supervisory and middle management positions. Or are we talking about the firefighter positions where the bulk of the overtime is paid? And all of those positions move up on the firefighter ranks. So we were in process of hiring classes to fill the vacancies at the firefighter level. And they come in. The process, if you take a look and you can do the numbers if you like, the percentages that you're talking about with the captains and the lieutenants in those days are very small percentages of that officer corps in each category. So you're talking about very small percentages. And when we look at hiring into those positions, we'll hire into those positions. There's going to be a backfill any place in that area if there's going to be an overtime or backfill in any of those places. For those 7 captains across all of the platoons, it's very small. It's not something that causes this huge overtime piece. The overtime is at the firefighter hiring level. And that was because we weren't able to hire for a period when we were going through our financial crisis with everyone else. And when we were able to hire, we immediately did double classes to catch up. We have another one coming to catch up as well. That's what's going to have the large impingement on the overtime.
So then you actually budgeted the extra money for overtime that wasn't in the budget? I thought the budget went $7,200,000 over for overtime.
There was a projection for the overtime. The actual point where people leave or where their trial is at is something that happens. Sometimes you can't budget for each and every position that's going to have to be backfilled because people leave at different times as well.
I can understand based on what you said that there was, just follow this question, if there was overtime because you couldn't hire firefighters, I'm just following your line of reasoning. Why didn't you project the $7.2 million in overtime that occurred over and above what was budgeted? Seems to me, if you were on top of the one, you'd be on top of the other. And the criticism can come from either side, but you can't have it both ways. That you anticipated there wouldn't be firefighters coming in, but you didn't anticipate the overtime that was going to be caused by that. So how do you explain not knowing $7,200,000? That's not a small percentage. That's a huge number. How did you miss that if you understood it was going to happen?
There's other things that attribute to that as well. It's myriad of things: injuries, sickness, long-term sick, all of those things.
So this is in the normal range of being over?
No, it's not. No, it's not, because we did have the classes, and we did put in doing the classes, we have other officers that come in and they're adjuncts, things like that. But for the most part, the classes that we put in was a part of that projection. It was definitely a part of that projection.
But how do you miss it by 7.2 if you projected it?
Dave was talking about other little small things that go into the overtime. And a new protocol where we had to extend training for another week for the cadets, things like that add to the overtime.
Well, can you get us a list of those items that?
One of the things that I was told is we were projecting the class to be in sooner and out sooner, so that impacts on the overtime as well.
Tell me when the Brown House instituted.
Brown House started in 2010, I believe.
2010.
August.
Okay. And this this budget, is this the original budget request that you made to the administration?
It's not the original budget request.
Was the original budget request, did it contain a request for more money?
For more money for some things, yes.
Okay. How much more money?
I have to get back to you on that.
Please, thank you.
Certainly.
At this point in time, do you believe that the brownouts should continue?
If I could have the brownouts discontinued, I would discontinue them. Right now, the brownouts, the study that we have looking at, they are contributing to the budget, and the safety of the citizens have not been diminished.
Okay, so the brownouts are something you would rather do without, but at this time in point, one of the considerations is that the brownouts was a cost-saving measure, which I do not believe is your call, you have been told, is effectively helping the administration to put funds that would have gone to the fire department into other projects.
There it goes back to the general fund, yes.
Yes. So, the question of the fact that the brownouts and taking money out of the fire department that would have gone to the fire department How do you define that in light of your statement that even one death is a serious matter?
Well, one of the things that we've done over the years is to partner with the community and to get the community to respond to education, the technical aspects of what will keep them safe, the smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, and to take on different behaviors, which is a home escape plan, testing smoke alarms, doing things in their home that's going to keep them safe. And if they have an issue where there's a breakdown in their home and there's a fire, that they will know how to get out. And you may have some property loss, but you won't have a life loss. And they've been responding to that. In all of the areas where we have lesser resources, when we study those areas, we have seen a steady decline in fires. We've seen a steady decline in injuries, steady decline in fire deaths. So I believe that they're responding to that in a good way. One of the things that we're looking forward to doing is using technology to move forward and to look at what the proper footprint would be for all of our engines and our ladders and our medic units, and to move forward towards 2035 and implement that plan so that we can have the proper distribution of those engines and ladders. And just based on what I'm looking at and what our preliminary look is, we probably would, in some areas, after we replace those companies, we would actually have less companies in the city able to do the job that's required to keep the citizens safe. But right now, I don't have that